What's going on, guys? So I've had a few comments that are basically saying that they already know how to scream, but they're having problems maintaining volume and maintaining not running out of breath during shows and during practice and whatnot. Biggest reason that this is happening is because you're not maintaining your breathing. You want to be able to breathe as you speak the same as when you scream. Basically, you say a couple words and you take breaths in between, but you don't do it with too much emphasis and too much power behind it. It should just be a steady flow. That's how you're going to get maintain volume. That's how your words are not going to cut out at the end of it. Another helpful tip is to not use too many words in one measure. If you're going to use 25 words in just one measure, you're going to have to try to belt them all out. And if you still want them to be understood, then it just takes that much more pressure, that much more enunciation to have to do that. So I'd suggest to limit the amount of words you use in each measure. If you have to have your song, instead of being 3 minutes, be 5 minutes so you can get out everything you want to say, so be it. Another thing is, a lot of people try to tell you to drink water, that they say drinking water is going to help. Yes and no. If you're going to drink water, make sure it's room temperature water, because cold water is actually going to constrict your vocal cords a lot more. If you're screaming correctly, you shouldn't have to drink water. I don't drink anything in between making these videos. I might have a soda beforehand, but that's a soda. That's caffeine. That's actually the worst thing for your vocal cords, but I can still do it just because I've gotten to that point where I kind of know what I'm going to be doing, and so on and so forth. If you feel like you actually need water, or if you're clearing your throat a lot after you scream, that's actually because you're straining your vocal cords too much. The need for water, the need for clearing your throat, that's actually just a mental feeling because you want to find some way to soothe your vocal cords. So that's the biggest way to test it is, if you're screaming right, do you need to drink water? Do you need to clear your throat? Are you sitting there going after everything you say? Then you're doing it wrong. Also, another thing is, if the volume or your actual word cuts out in the middle of your screaming, you might want to consider maybe you're screaming too loud. Remember, although you don't want to be too quiet, like some screams that are out there, you're not going to be whispering, you're not doing this, or anything like that. That's going to, but if you're too loud, then you can actually be pushing out way too much power. Now when you hear me scream in my videos, I'm actually screaming a little quieter than I do on stage because I live in apartments, so I can't really get too loud in an apartment. But that's another thing, is if your words are cutting out, if you're losing volume, you might be screaming too loud, so try lowering the volume. Try doing something like this! I can come right out of that, speak, not have to clear my throat, not have any problem, talking just like I did 5 minutes ago, less than that. So that's another thing. Try maybe turn the volume down some on your voice. Another thing is, try not to emphasize certain words with more power of pressure. I know certain parts in songs are just going to be a lot more massive, a lot more in your fucking face kind of thing. But, work with your band. Have maybe a drum beat, certain, thing there. Maybe get the audience involved in it. But when you start, when you're screaming and all of a sudden you want this one word to be emphasized, don't push out power, because you're going to lose the volume stability, you're going to lose your breathing stability, and I mean, hell, there was one band that actually threw his back out trying to emphasize a word with his screaming. So, you want to be consistent with that. Use what's around you on stage if you want to emphasize a word. I've got a cold, so this might sound like shit, and you're going to see me looking at the lyrics because I don't know the lyrics by heart, but just to kind of show an example of how you should maintain your breathing, I'm going to do just a part from the Agony scene's Eyes Sewn Shut. Dead skin, where the lifeless and torn they, eyes sewn shut and tongue form, the mouth she lay bleeding, scarlet, stained scarlet, scarlet, stained scarlet. Now if you hear there, I'm not taking too much breath in, I'm not pushing too much out, and the volume is staying consistent because my breathing is consistent.